And we are live. All right. All right. How's it going, Craig?
Good. How are you doing, Dave?
Good. 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 Yeah, I'm excited. We are going to launch this today. We're just getting started a little bit early. We're going to let some people trickle in here. Give a thumbs up for anybody coming in. I'm Dave on the Wet Fly Swing podcast. We've got Craig DeMark here from On Demark Lodge. We're going to be doing a live webinar here shortly. We're going to talk about this amazing trip that we're going to be doing this year and kind of everything you have kind of through the seasons. So Craig, before we get into this, maybe just give us a little intro on who you are and what you do real quick.
So my name's Craig DeMark. Obviously, we own a little lodge on the Missouri River in Montana. We're all inclusive. We supply the guiding, the housing, the food. My wife does the cooking. I guide. My son guides. It's truly a family operation. But no, we have this really cool little operation on this awesome river, and but the presentation is mostly about the dry fly fishing we have. We have
Yeah.
lots of other good fishing, but it's based on that. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, I want to welcome everybody as they come in here, and we'll give it a few minutes to let people hop on here. We've got Craig DeMark from On Demark Lodge. I'm Dave from the Wet Fly Swing podcast. We are going to be talking all things dry fly fishing, the Missouri River, famous river we've talked about this. Craig's been on the podcast, the numbers of fish, the size of the fish. So we're going to be talking about that today. And we're also going to have a Q&A at the end. So if you guys stick around, you have any questions, you can either throw them in the comments as we go, and I'll collect those, and then we'll answer them at the end. And yeah, this is going to be good tonight. We're going to have a few different things we're going to show you as we get into it. But I think, Craig, this is going to be about like 45 minutes for the presentation.
Yeah, we're like in that 45 minutes to 50 to an hour, somewhere there. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Depending on
cool.
how many questions we have, and yeah,
Perfect.
definitely.
All right. And there will be a replay for those that are going to be coming on here, although we are going to have a little bonus tonight. I think I might give away a little bonus product tonight for those that stick around till the end. So stay tuned for that. But I think, Craig, what we're going to do is it's top of the hour now, a little one minute past. We're going to give it a few more minutes to let people come in here, and then we're going to go live and let you take it away and talk about the Missouri River and
Okay,
what you do out there. Does that sound good?
sounds great. Yes.
Okay. All right, perfect. So yeah, as people come in here, just give some thumbs up, give a a heads up, and get some questions ready, because I know I've been talking to a few people about the trip, and I think there are some questions about what to expect and things like that. We are going to be out there in the fall, although Craig might have some other opportunities that if you can't get in on that, some different timing times of the year. But we're going to get into this in a little bit. We've got right now. I'll pull up the presentation. The epicenter of Montana dry fly fishing, the Missouri River. So this is Craig's presentation today. I guess this is we've had some people call this a podcast tonight. I guess technically this isn't a podcast. This is a webinar. The difference is a podcast has an RSS feed, which nobody probably knows what that means. But essentially, this is live, a little bit different than the podcast. So if you want to check out the podcast, I'm going to go down to one of our screen shares here and show you what that looks like here. Let's see. I think I got it here, down here. Nope, not that one. That's me. And here it is. Episode 741, Missouri River Fly Fishing with On Demark Lodge. So if you want to check that out after this, of course, go to wetflyswing.com/741. If you're new to the podcast, you can definitely check that out anytime and listen to more of the details. We had Becky and Warren on, Craig. That was awesome. We had the whole family on the pod. That might have been a first. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if we've had a whole family on the podcast before. That was pretty cool.
We didn't have any arguments either, so it was perfect.
That was good. Yeah, totally. So that was a great episode. But tonight's going to be just Craig going in. Really, this is just going to be a presentation. The other difference is that this is a webinar. This is a presentation. So he's going to have a slideshow that we showed you here, this one, and he's just going to take it away in a few minutes. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to enjoy like the rest of everybody on here and just enjoy what we're watching here. Get fired up, because I think the dry fly in the Missouri I know you have some video here that's going to kind of blow some people away on what we're going to see, but this is going to be really awesome to get a feel, right? This is kind of the test driving. Without it, if you haven't fished the Missouri yet, we're going to do it. So anything we should know before we jump into it a little bit?
No, I think what's cool about doing it right now, I do this presentation that shows a form of it during the winter time, during the off season, but it's kind of cool right now because we're in the middle of the spring stuff, and it's we're doing it right now. And I don't normally get that kind of real time report on the fishing I get to give people as we're doing it like we are today. So no,
Oh,
that's
nice.
what's kind of cool about that. Yeah.
Right. So we're actually going to get a little bit of a report, like a real
Yes.
time
Exactly.
report.
Yep. Yep.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. So,
Okay.
go ahead and start. Or
Yeah, hang on one sec. I'm gonna just yeah. Let me check one thing, make sure we're good to go here, and then I'll swing it over. And like I said, for everybody just coming in here, we are going to be doing this presentation. It'll be about 45 minutes or so. Afterwards, we're going to have a little Q&A. So if you have any questions for Craig about anything we talk about the trip, you name it, you could ask that. You can also put some any comments you have in the comments here, and you can put any, and then I'll follow up with
yeah,
those.
any questions at all about the river, the fishing, anytime? Yeah, whatever kind of fishing you like to do,
Yep,
definitely
perfect.
ask. Yep.
So, and for those that are new, again, I'm Dave, Wet Fly Swing Podcast. We've got a bunch of episodes. We have a couple there with Craig. We're going to be doing more as we move ahead. So if you need more of your fill, we'll have links to that at the end. But this is going to be awesome, Craig. So why don't you take it away, and we'll let you just blow us away with this Missouri River, which is one of the most famous rivers in the country. Why
Yes.
don't you take it away?
Yep. And so I do this. This presentation is about the dry fly fishing. We really focus on that. There's a little bit about nymphing and some streamer fishing in this, but we're really well known for our dry fly fishing. But you can catch a lot of fish, nymph fishing, streamer fishing. This river really does truly have it all. But we'll cover mostly dry fly fishing because I think that's kind of a unique experience. There's a lot of rivers you go to that you might have a month or so of some good dry fly fishing, but the Missouri has really consistent good dry fly fishing throughout the season. So that's what I do. So going into a little bit, just give you a background on our river. This is what I have highlighted here. This is our watershed. This is our drainage. So if you see, we take in the Big Hole, the Gallatin, the Madison, the Beaverhead, the Jefferson, all these really well-known famous rivers in Southwest Montana. So we have really good water coming in. And by the way, on the Big Hole River, I did just get a chance to listen to that podcast you did with Dan Wheeler. That's a great podcast, and people should really look into the Big Hole River Foundation that he's head of, and what he's doing to try to help that river out. It's such an awesome place, and it needs some help. And I hope that the people look into that and help Brian out, because that's a great place. But that's one of our drainages that comes off the Continental Divide on the Montana-Idaho border. And then we get all that really good water out of Yellowstone Park. And then if you look there where it's kind of the pink highlight, that is the three reservoirs that the Missouri goes through after it all forms. So three forks where you see the Jefferson, Gallatin, and Madison. That's where the Missouri actually starts. And then it goes through a few impoundments, but there's three big impoundments above us: Canyon Ferry, Hauser, and Holter Dam. And those are all tailwaters. So that gives us this huge supply of cold water and really good water. And that's what makes this place so special. When you go to, this is why the Missouri. That's kind of why we're here. We used to live in Dillon. We fished the Big Hole, the Beaverhead, the Madison, all those. And we decided to open our lodge on this river just because it is such good water, good fish. But that's why we're here. So we kind of talked about the water we have coming in with the reservoirs being tailwater. We have all this cold water coming in. Water temperature is very consistent. We keep cold water later in the summer, like a lot of those rivers don't. We don't hardly ever have hoot owl closures here. The fish count and size. So all of our fish are wild fish. The rainbows, they've not planted rainbows in this river for 50 years. The brown trout actually come from a stocking in the Firehole River in the late 1800s. That's where our brown trout come from. They've come downstream, so that they haven't been planted either. So these are all naturally producing wild fish. Our average fish is 18 inches, which is, and they're very big, healthy fish. Our fish counts normally run in the 4,000 to 6,000 fish per mile, and that's when the FWP does their counts, they don't count anything under 10 inches. So those are all 10 inches and bigger fish. We just had our our meeting and our report this recently, and our fish counts last year were like in that 5,000 fish per mile range, which that's come down a bit from the last two counts that were in that 7 to 8,000 fish per mile. But what we've seen is we had uh, a big fish year in 2000 or 2018. We had a big water year, lots of fish, and those fish have just kind of gone through the cycle, and they've
Yeah.
kind of died off.
Yeah,
So
7,000, 5,000 seems more reasonable now. I feel
yes,
like
yes,
7,000 was like, wow, I've never even heard of those numbers before. So 5,000
exactly.
is still amazing, right?
And it's that's the average. It's 4 to 5,000 is our average. And kind of what I've seen, and so this part of the fishing report right now is we have some really nice, big, healthy fish this year, right? Especially fishing around us in this middle section of the river that we're in. We're seeing a lot of browns, a lot of bigger browns, a lot of really nice rainbows. Where the last couple of years down in this section, those we've had mostly rainbows in that that 14 to 17 inch range. But I mean, we're lots of 18, 20 inch fish down here now. So numbers went down a bit, fish went up, and there's still just plenty of fish in the river. So it's fishing really well right now. We have lots of hatches throughout the season. We start in April. Our lodge season does. We're open now. We've had a few guests in already. But so I'm kind of covering April through October. But just tons of insects, lots of variety of insects, caddis, mayflies. That's our big ones, midges. We have a few stoneflies. And then our hatches, we have big volumes, big blanket hatches, and it seems like our hatches here last longer than they do in other places. So like our PMD hatch, trico hatch, stuff like that, it lasts a lot longer than other rivers around us. But that's what makes this place so special is we have a real shallow river. It's a big wide, lots of volume, and just creates lots of weed beds, lots of insects, just well-fed fish, good hatches for dry fly fishing. So this covers April and May, and our big hatch this time of year is Baetis. We're seeing it right now. They've just kind of started. We still have tons of midges, and we have the Baetis that are just starting to get going real good now. Right now, it's we get them kind of mid-afternoon. You'll find pockets of fish rising mid-afternoon. But if you have some inclement weather, some cloudy days, some rainy days, that really just turbo drives this Baetis hatch. And the Baetis this time of year versus the fall when you'll be here, Dave, they're a little bit, we have them in the spring and the fall. And then the spring Baetis are a little bit bigger than the fall Baetis. I mean, the spring Baetis are kind of in that 16 to 18 range. And then we get to fall, then it goes more like that 18, 20 stuff. But they're very similar hatches, very similar days that you have the good fishing. But no, that's what we like this time of year is that Baetis hatch. Yep. Midges. We do have some March browns that'll show up here in about a couple weeks. I've seen a few already. We do have some squallas here too, so you can throw some big dries this time of year. And then we also have some Mother's Day caddis. That's a real short window. It's hard to time, but that couple days when it's going, it's just a big blanket hatch. But
when does the squalla? When does that happen?
It's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the month of April is when we see them. We don't have like the big volume squalla hatch like the bitterroot does, but there's enough to get the fish looking up for those bigger patterns here. So a lot of times, this is one of the only times a year I'll throw a double dry, throw like a big squalla on the front and a smaller Baetis in the back, and that can be pretty effective. I'll show in the video here. We have you can see a fish eat a squalla. Yeah. So this is about what kind of defines Baetis activity here. What weather enhanced, what we mean by that is that we get like a nasty cloudy day, a rainy day, snowy day. That's when this hatch is really good. And you'll have Baetis pretty much all day long and dry fly fishing all day long. Volume emergence, it's a big blanket of bugs a lot of times. And I have videos here. I'll prove it to you what this river looks like with the amount of bugs on it. It is our first major hatch, so it seems like it brings up a lot of the bigger fish this time of year that are eating dries or eating on top, which that's not unusual in this river. But we do see a lot of nicer fish this time of year eating because that's the first hatch they see that Um, when I talk about smaller fly selection, by size over stage, meaning that a lot of the hatches we get into later, it seemed to get a little more technical, like at PMDs and Tricos, where fish will key on a dun, they'll key on a spinner, they'll key on a cripple. But it seems like with Baetis, if they just see that upright silhouette within that size range, that they'll usually eat it if you get the right drift over them. So you don't need to have as many different patterns covering this hatch. It really is. It's a great time to come here. We don't get real busy this time of year. There's not a lot of boats in the water, but it is like truly one of the better times to fish this river with the Baetis hatch, and the nymphing's real good before the hatch, and it's a really fun time. So this is kind of how we're doing this. We're going through the year, and this is a typical day at the lodge. So we start a little bit later. Breakfast we'll do at 8:00 or so. We get in the water by 9:30. So a lot of times, if you have a sunny day, we'll be nymphing before the hatch. And this time of year, this is another one of the differences between the spring Baetis and the fall Baetis. We run our nymph rigs deeper this time of year. We'll run them in that 4 to 6 foot range. Where later in the year we run a lot shallower when we're nymphing. The nymph fishing this time of year, if you want to come and catch just a bunch of fish, you can catch a lot of fish this time of year. There's no weeds in the river. It's clean. The fish are hungry, and it's Warren and I went yesterday, and we nymphed for a while, and it's seriously you can just catch fish after fish after fish. It's a really good time for that, just fish catching. Then if it's a sunny day, we'll do lunch. Then we'll get our Baetis hatch after lunch, and that's when we'll have our dry fly fishing. We'll fish dries until we get off, and then we'll have cocktails, appetizers, dinner at 6. So 6 or 7, somewhere in there. But if this is a cloudy, rainy day, you could be fishing dries all day long. I had a day last year, and it was around, I think it was May 1st, April 30th, May 1st. Had a couple guys. They'd been here for 3 days. We kind of went by this program. We fished nymphs in the morning, dry fly fish in the afternoon. And the last day it was kind of cloudy and snowy. And I was rigging up their rods, and they were rigging up their nymph rods. And they said, if you don't mind it, we don't really want to fish nymphs there. We've caught tons of fish on nymphs. We just like to fish dries all day. And like I said, it was a cloudy, snowy day, and we started off at like 10:00, and we fished dries all day long. We've had fish midging in the morning, and then turned to Baetis around noon or so, and it was like truly one of the best days of the year. We fished dry flies, never put on a nymph, and just fished it all day, and it was great. Nice. It's cold, but it was great.
Yeah.
So I've got a little. I have these video clips. So if you look at this video, and I'll run this, all these specks you see in the water, those are all Baetis and midges, and this is about mid-April. This is in our section of the river up closer to the dam, to Holter Dam, between the dam and Wolf Creek Bridge. But and these fish you'll see here, I mean, these are all like the real nice, like 18 to 20 inch fish. But and that's you see it's kind of spitting snow, kind of raining. But that's the kind of activity you'll see on those cloudy, snowy, rainy days.
Oh yeah.
That's a sample of the bugs. That's the midges and Baetis. That's late April.
Wow.
So this is, let's see. Oops, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm back in the video. I was trying to pause it.
That's right. We'll watch that again. So these are fish. Yeah, and you can tell the rise form. Are they eating dries that are on the surface, or
yes?
Yeah.
Yep. They're eating, and they'll eat. You'll see the same fish eat midges and Baetis duns that time of year.
Yeah, and you're just trying to get the fly. You see a rise, you're just trying to put it kind of above it to float right over it.
And this is what I was talking about. Is we throw double dries. There's a squala pattern in the front and a Baetis in the back. You can kind of see that bigger puff past the line. Yep. I don't usually like to throw double dries in this river because they like to swing around each other and you get too much drag with it. But this time of year is a good time to do it because the fish aren't so sensitive to drag, and with that squala, you'll get some pretty cool eats. But here's, uh, oops, I just sorry, go back. Starting again.
Yeah.
I'll try to get to that spot. So yeah, if you watch, that was a fish rising, and then we put the cast down. This is fishing above it, downstream to it, the bigger fly,
Yep.
and you'll just see
It took the
sip that.
smaller one this side of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Was that a big fish or what was that? Was that a?
It's probably like that 18-inch
Yeah, it
fish.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty typical fish. This is a pot of fish just rising on a bank. Um, Saw the big head come up and eat it. Yeah, it's
Wow.
another pot of fish on a bank. Um, but that's a very typical number of fish that you see in pods eating.
Jeez.
But again, every speck you see, that's an insect on the water.
Man. So is your fly looking? Is your fly a little bit different looking than the other bugs, or is there any secret
Yeah,
to?
I usually use something with a longer wing or something you can pick out a little bit better to see to make sure you see your fly. Like I like that, like a sparkle flag with that long poly wing. I really like that fly for that, especially for that time of year.
Yeah, that's cool footage.
So I don't know if anybody has any questions on that time of year. Was there anything there?
No, I think just keep it rolling, and we'll save. I
Okay.
think especially since I'm talking here a little bit, we're gonna probably be pushing time. So why don't you go ahead and just work through the presentation, then we'll save it for the Q&A at the end.
Okay, so June and July we get into the PMD and caddis. And that's I call it superstars because I think that's kind of the hatch everybody comes here for, or not everybody, but I think a slim majority of people would say that the PMD hatch is their favorite. If you're
Yeah,
talking about mayfly
the
hatch,
pale morning dun, which
yep.
is and why is that? Why do people love the pale morning
Um,
dun?
I think it's a little bit bigger fly. I mean, they're 14 to 16s. It's another kind of an early hatch. Fish will move out of their lane to eat this little bigger fly, as opposed to like a trico or betis, where they want to just stay focused in their one lane. Um, and they're easier to see, and then it's nice weather. I mean, it's warmed up. It's a pleasant time of year. And then you get the caddis fishing in the evenings after the PMDs, and I think that's what really draws people. I mean, there's probably just as many people would say tricos are their favorite hatch. I mean, just by the volume of fish rising you see, uh, but pale morning duns I think is it's a very popular time here.
Yeah.
Um, so when we go to PMDs, hatch characteristics, it's very consistent hatch. It becomes like that. You'll get in the river in the morning, and then you'll start seeing duns mid morning, and fish up on the duns pretty soon after that. And it's just kind of like clockwork every day. You see that from starting mid June through going on through to early July. Runs late morning to early afternoon. Bigger bugs, but again, you'll find fish eating PMDs on this river all day long because we have these big eddies where you'll get tons of dead bugs in those eddies, and there'll be fish up eating in those eddies all day long. And then after the PMDs are over, about 2 or 3 o'clock, we start getting caddis in the afternoons and evenings. More aggressive fish. Fish will move quite a ways for a caddis, or we'll fish skated caddis and watch fish chase the skated caddis. By clouds, I'll show you a caddis hatch in a video on this later, but it especially the last couple of years, we've had just tremendous caddis hatches.
Hmm.
It runs early afternoon through evening, so it goes right after. You can go from PMDs right into caddis. It's less technical. Again, you don't need to have a perfect drift with caddis. Fish are sitting up on shallow shelves and just looking for a caddis skating by, so they'll move a long ways for it. And I think that's what a lot of people like about caddis. It's a fun time this time of year.
How long do the caddis last throughout the season?
This last year, I mean, our major caddis started like in late June, and then we went into. They get pretty strong in July. Those start waning a little bit, but then we'll get a fall caddis like starting September, but like a size 16, a tan caddis, and so it's pretty much from June all the way to the end season. I mean, you'll see caddis here. So well, actually, we have the Mother's Day caddis too in May, so that's there's a lot of caddis in this river. It's so this is a day in June or July. We go a little bit earlier because it's warmer. Fish are up a little bit earlier on on the surface, on the water earlier. Now this is a really fun time also when you cover shallow nymphing or short leash nymphing. We'll run just a real short rig with maybe like a Frenchie on top and a pale morning dun split case on the back. And we'll only run it like 2 or 3 feet deep with no weight, just the weight of the front fly and really tiny indicators. And that's a blast. You can actually sight fish to fish feeding on flats. And that's kind of this time of year, the fish move up onto shallow flats to eat, and they stay there till the fall. That's you'll find most of the fish up on shallow gravel bars for most of the summer into the fall. Then we'll get our hatch about 10:30. And again, if a person wants to nymph all day and catch a bunch of fish that way, you can do that. But we like to run nymphs for a while, and then we'll go to dries and fish dries till lunch or indefinitely. By indefinitely, I mean that we'll sometimes just eat or just fish right through lunch till the fish quit rising. I don't ever leave rising fish, so lunch comes just maybe floating down the river at 3:00 sometimes when it's like this, and then we'll see caddis about 1:30 to 2:00, and they'll fish caddis after the PMDs until we take off, and then off the water 4 or 5 cocktails, appetizers, dinner, and then what's nice here at the lodge is I'm actually looking at it out the window right now.
Oh, yeah.
We have a really nice piece of water that we have access to that we have some really good evening caddis stuff right here at the lodge. So we'll have guys come and eat dinner, and then they'll go back out and just wade fish till dark. And it gets silly with the number of fish you see on the surface, like right at dark here when the caddis are going. So that's
nice.
That's
so you got a little bonus session after the drift boat
exactly
is done.
Yep. And we have some guys hardcore. I mean, they'll fish in the morning before we leave. Fish from after dinner. It's
yeah. So for the most part, in your fishing, I guess you'll talk about this a little bit, but it's going to be a lot out of the boat, fishing out of the boat on the way down.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it depends on the fisherman or the angler.
That's what I was going to ask you if we've got some older folks that are coming out. You can know that we're
hard to wade fish and one just want to stay in the boat. That's great, and I like to cover a lot of water. But if we have people that want to wade fish and can do it, there's tons of opportunities here. There's lots of gravel bars and islands and channels you can wade around in and do great. I like doing that as much as I do the boat. Or if you just want to stay in the boat and we anchor up above fish and fish to fish, there's a lot of flexibility in the way you want to fish here.
Okay.
Wade fishing. Here's just a video from. This is kind of this time of year. This is the Dearborn Bridge. That's a pot of fish just in front of a bridge pillar rising there.
Oh wow!
Nice pillow of water in front. This is a big brown on a bank eating PMDs, and you see how much they move. They'll move back and forth a lot this time of year. So that's caddis in the trees. It looks like the trees are fire and smoke.
That's amazing.
Those are caddis in the evening. Yeah, that's actually down in the canyon below the lodge here, down by Mountain Palace. It is incredible the number of caddis you'll see.
And what is the Mother's Day caddis? For those that don't know, what? Oh, I'll let you play this. But is that unique?
What's that?
The Mother's Day caddis. What is talk about that? How's that different than just your normal tan caddis?
It's a spring caddis. It happens. It varies on rivers and it's kind of all throughout Montana, and it kind of comes at different times depending on elevation. Some rivers you'll see it in April, some you'll see it in May, but it's a really short window of just like blanket caddis hatches, and we'll see it here probably within 2 or 3 weeks here. It's pretty close to actually Mother's Day on this river, but there's guys who there's people on rivers that'll try to time a salmon fly hatch to be there during the salmon fly hatch. There's people on rivers that'll try to time the Mother's Day caddis just because the number of bugs and the fish just get stupid. They're just looking to eat everything that goes by when you get that. But
nice.
That's the.
That's amazing.
So this is going into late summer now. We got out of the PMDs and PMDs. I'll still see pay morning duns in the drift all the way. So I mean, sometimes I see the odd one in September. But we get more into trico stuff when we get into July. And late summer, I will call mid July through mid September. We're a pretty low elevation river for Montana standards. We're at 3,400 feet here, so
Hmm.
we have later falls, earlier springs than say like the Madison that's at 6,500 feet, 6,000 feet.
Okay.
The big holes like at around 5,500 feet. So yeah, we have a longer shoulder seasons. Um, but this time of year we call it school recess because we get to fish the really technical fish that'll teach us something in the morning with tricos, and then we'll move to hoppers in the afternoon. And it's a very unique time where you're fishing a size 20 or 22 trico in the morning, and then you'll move to a size 6 hopper in the afternoon. It's it this. I'm not going to say this is the best time of year, but this is my favorite time of year. A lot of
Yeah.
people leave the river because it gets weedy and they can't. A lot of the guides can't run bobbers and nymph fish in places, so they'll go to other places, and we just have it all to ourselves, throwing single dry flies all day. So,
Yeah. Is it
um,
and it's a mix of rainbows and brown trout?
yes, yep. It's about a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 ratio, rainbows to browns, and it depends on the section of the river you fish and what you fish. If you fish like big hoppers or streamers or crayfish patterns, you catch more browns than rainbows. If you fish, regular nymphs, dry flies, stuff like that, you catch more rainbows, and they vary. But and depending on the lower on the river system you get, the more browns you get too. But
Yeah.
it's a pretty equal number depending on where you fish.
Okay.
So this is the trico hatch. Characteristics of that, you'll get lots of bugs. It'll look like it's snowing. Again, I got another video I'll show you here about the amount of bugs you get. It's a very, very consistent hatch. It becomes just like clockwork again, kind of like the PMDs, but even more so. You get those high pressure systems in the summer, and you'll see tricos in the water. Usually when you get on the water, there'll be trico spinners, and there'll be fish up on those spinners at 7 a.m. And then that lasts till about noon or so. And then it's unlimited targets. I mean, it is truly like it'll look like the river is alive with fish rising this time of year with the amount of tricos and the fish that are rising to them. It's a crazy number of bugs.
Hmm.
And then the hoppers, that's what like I said, we see a lot of our bigger browns when we fish hoppers. Weather dependent, meaning it's a better to fish hoppers here when it's a sunny, hot day and wind. A windy day really helps blow those hoppers in the water and gets those fish fired up. Big browns, you get bigger bugs. Like I said, we fish a lot of size 8 and size 6 hoppers. I like a low riding pattern, like a Moorish hopper. And then you can fish a dropper off of it if you like. I like just fishing hoppers myself. But no, you can do really well just dropping a little Frenchie off the back of it. And you want to fish it real shallow. If you drop it like a foot off the hopper, the fish are suspended, and then the river is weedy, and if you drop it deeper, you get more weeds. But
Gotcha.
you can
You
fish
get it
hopper
right
dropper.
below.
That. Mm-hmm.
And as people, if there's more new people coming in here, you can leave comments if you have any questions. We won't be able to get to them all, but at the end in the Q&A, we're going to have Craig answer some questions. We did have one. Joel was asking about is the river regulated for numbers of boats? I think that's something people are wondering about. Like, is there a limit, like the pressure, right? And I know you talked about that on the podcast. And Joel, if you have any questions, I'm just going to put a link out here. We have a podcast on, you can take a look where Craig talked about this, but you want to speak to that just a little bit, Craig?
Yeah, no, we don't have a limited number of outfitters on this river like they do on the Bitterroot or the Beaverhead or the Big Hole. We have it's a very big river. It's very wide. It'll look, sometimes you'll pull up to a ramp in mid-June when it's busy, and the ramp will be full of people, and you get out in the river and you spread out, and there's not really, you have all the water you want to fish to yourself. And it depends on what time you're here, like a lot of places too. Like I said, August is very light. There's not many people here fishing. Yeah. We do get a lot of people during early June when most of the rivers in Montana are blown out. So a lot of the people come from other rivers here, so they have some clean water fish.
What about what about the June versus say June, July versus say the fall, October, September, October?
Yeah, it lightens up a lot in the fall too because we have a lot of people that go hunting or do other things. School starts.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, our busiest month probably is June.
Yeah.
Starts waning in July and August. We get a few people come back in September, and then once you get to October, then the numbers of people really fall off. But and there's, like I said, we'll do things to avoid people if we want to, if it seems like there's a lot of people, we'll stagger our floats. We'll go a little bit. That's what's nice about having a small lodge is we can be really flexible and eat breakfast later, go earlier. So no, there's lots of things you do. There's lots of sections of the river that don't have as much pressure. If you want to not see anybody, we go lower, go down to Cascade, down that area. It still
Yeah.
fishes really well, and you just don't see many people. So
Yeah.
no, it's not to
Yeah. This
that
is a
point
big
yet.
river. This is not a small river. There's lots of room on this thing for lots of
Yes,
boats.
it is a
Sounds like.
very big fruit. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We're running most of the summer. We're in that 4 to 5,000 CFS range, and it's yeah. And then we'll sometimes in the early summer we'll get to like 15,000 or so, but and that just tells you how big of a river it is that you can have that volume of water.
Perfect.
So then, so that moves us to a day in August. We go real early then. Uh, you get in the water at 7:30, and like I said, you'll see heads, you'll see fish up then. That's when the trico, the spinner fall starts, and then you'll fish to rising fish to lunch or beyond. Again, it's that same thing. You'll see some fishing back, and Eddie is eating dead bugs all day long. Um, and then we'll have lunch, and then that's when you get to fish hoppers in the afternoon. That's what's really fun is you want to just throw a long cat. That's what's nice about this river. You don't have to throw a hopper right against the bank. A lot of our fish eating hoppers, you're out in the middle of the river on shallow flats, and you just want to run long casts a long ways across shallow flats till the hopper gets eaten. Then we'll be off the water early, 3:30 or so, 3 or 4. Cocktails, dinner, go to bed early, and then we can get up early and get into the trico thing. And it's like I said, if you want to come and fish just unlimited numbers of fish rising, come during trico time because it'll blow your mind how many fish are actually rising on, and they're
Wow.
just everywhere. I mean, this is the time of year we get what we call friffle. It looks like a riffle, but it's actually heads of fish that make a riffle in the water. You'll see a
Wow.
place like I don't remember being rocks there before, but no, it's actually fish, and there'll be 20 or 30 fish just in shallow water with their heads up. So go to the video. Um, so this is an eddy. This is actually up below pretty close to the dam, but those are all fish. And that eddy just eating all the tricos that have swirled in, but
Jeez.
that's what I talked about. It looks like it's snowing. That's actually at the Wolf Creek ramp
Wow.
right there. That's
Is
yeah.
that pretty common? So that's happening. How long is that hatch going on?
It starts early July and it goes in through most of actually mid July, then through most of August, and starts waning later in August. Um, we still get a little bit of it in September, early September, but
Hmm.
that's a rainy day in August. And
Yeah.
if you look, you saw that fish jump, and there was actually a fish rising behind it. I mean, these fish are so used to they just want to eat, and they're used to other fish, and they just
Oh, that's a
run
cool
right through it.
shot.
Yeah, so that's a pot of fish. Those are all like in that 17 to 20-inch class,
Wow.
but yeah, it's kind of like an
Yeah.
aquarium there. That's
And
actually right above a boat
oh,
ramp.
that's a nice fish.
There's a slow mo shot of the hoppers.
Oh, that's cool.
We have a ton of hoppers along this river. But yeah, like to use those flat, low floating moorish hoppers.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yep, I like that time of year. Let's
Nice.
do this. Okay, so So we'll get to fall when you're going to be here
Yeah.
now.
So fall. So we're talking what, late September into October, or
Mm-hmm.
all of September? Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And this thing, like I said, we close the lodge down. We're kind of do a soft close in October, usually late October. But the fishing all through November is excellent too. I mean, if
Mm.
it's you get really good Baetis hatches all through November. The browns here, they spawn early November, so I mean, you definitely want to stay off the reds. Um,
Yep.
it's but you'll find plenty of fish that aren't on the reds to eat. It's
Hmm.
not yeah, there's no shortage of fish here. So this time of year we get the fall Baetis as opposed to spring Baetis, and then cover streamer fishing just a touch here. Uh, Fall we also get, like I said, we have a fall caddis, we have mahogany duns, we have some October caddis, so you can throw some bigger dries at times, like uh, the bigger like the
The big cats, like the
stimulators.
October. Oh, right. Yeah, like the flies.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, or bigger orange chubbies. Yeah,
Is that the fly for the
but
October caddis? For the big October caddis is a
yeah,
stimulator?
I like to use like a bigger orange stimulator. I like stimulators, but or if you want to fish like a dry dropper, like a smaller orange chubby, but dropping a Frenchie below it, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, this time of year, the fish are not spawning yet. When we're getting to late September, October, like I said, they spawn early November, but they they're getting angry this time of year. They're
Mm.
liking to chase big stuff. Um, Faster trees, long casts, big flashy stuff like sparkle minnows, krelix. Um, Throwing zertles works well this time of year. That crayfish stuff. There's tons of crayfish in this river, and that's another thing I think that the reason these fish get so big is they eat a lot of crayfish once they get to that size. Um, and then the Baetis fishing is similar to what it is in the spring, like I said, but we go to if we're nymphing during the Baetis hatch, we go to the short leash stuff, 2 to 3 feet deep because those fish are still on shelves as opposed to the
Mm-hmm.
spring. But the but yeah, so we go back later again now this time of year. Breakfast 8 o'clock on the water by 9. May have to do some shallow nymphing or streamer fishing in the mornings. Lunch and then we fish streamers or nymphs till the Baetis hatch. Then we start fishing Baetis. But the Baetis come off a little bit later this time of year. Depends on the day again. If we have a cloudy, snowy day, they'll come off earlier. But if it's a sunny day, we'll start seeing about 2 o'clock or so, and then we'll fish dries till 5 or so, and off the water cocktails and
Mm-hmm.
dinner at 6. Again, that all changes with a cloudy day. We might fish dries all day, or
Mm.
it's also the best time to fish streamers, and cloudy days are the best days for streamers. So you have to kind
Yeah.
of take your pick. You
So
try to
we're hoping for
get
clouds.
streamers, or yes, that's what you want. If we have cloudy days, it'll be epic. It'll be great. It'll be good anyway. But those cloudy days, if you get one or two of those, that's when it gets really fun. Yeah. Um, so yeah, see now these fish, that's a pot of rainbows up on a gravel bar. So they move
Mm.
real shallow then, and they're just picking off. They're eating nymphs under the surface. They're picking off duns on the surface like that.
Wow.
That's an eddy down towards Cascade. You saw the number of fish rising there, but somehow Warren got the little one out of the pod. Um, that's a pod of fish in a seam next to a bank. That's pretty typical look there.
Is the key to the dead drift? Is it just let it drift and mending? Is that the key to getting the
Yeah, actually, getting that reach cast and then throwing a lot of slack line. Start shaking line out of the
Mm.
rod. Let it just carry as far as it'll go. It makes it hard to hook fish sometimes, but because you have all that slack, but it's necessary to get that really long drift into them.
Jeez.
But
And
yeah, the browns get
yeah, and
gorgeous.
they get chunky, and the browns are getting bigger towards as you get closer to the
Yep.
spawn. Yeah,
Yeah, but the fish. I mean, I say that, but like right now,
pretty
I
chunky.
cannot believe how healthy these fish are coming out of winter. They are just they're big and beefy and just they don't
Huh.
they look like midsummer fish right now. It's crazy
Yeah.
how well they wintered this year. Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of it for the fishing.
Yeah.
Just some pictures of the lodge here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So that's Missouri in the background, the
yeah,
Missouri
so
Lodge.
it's
Yeah.
it's between us and those cliffs. Yeah, it's just right
Yeah.
behind it. That's if you were looking actually behind where this picture's from, then you'd see the river, the spot I was talking about where we fish. It's a county ground, so we have access to it, and so it'll always have access to it, and it's a good run right here in
Yeah.
front of the lodge. It's a very unique setting here with the canyon, with the rocks, and we have yucca plants, and then we have pine trees, and we have bighorn sheep on these
Mm.
cliffs, and it's a
Wow.
we have a herd of deer that comes through every day, but that's yeah, we're just a little lodge. We hold up to 6 people.
Yep.
Uh,
Perfect.
that's a bedroom. Every bedroom has 2 queen beds and its own bathroom.
Yep.
They all look pretty much like that. This is some of Becky's food.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Some
we're excited
appetite.
for. We're excited for Becky's. Becky talked a
Yeah,
little about it on the podcast.
yep. Um, that's a bison steak salad down there in the
Wow.
center. That's really good. And that cherry chutney pork tacos. Yeah, it's now I'm hungry.
Oh man,
Some desserts.
this is
Yeah.
going to be amazing.
And then, yep, that's our pricing. I just had to throw that in there
Yeah.
just so you had it.
Perfect.
And yeah, you can go on the website too and check everything out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good. So that covers everything, and I think those prices are definitely a pretty amazing value for what this is. You know, full pretty much people that are going to come, they just need to get a fishing license and show up, right? And then everything else is
Yep.
covered.
Yep. We have rods on site, everything, all the tackle, all the flies, everything's included. We just try to make it easy for you to just come up and just go fishing and don't have to
Yeah.
worry about food. This river, we kind of try to price it so we're not really much more that would cost to hire a guide, rent an Airbnb, and then go grocery shopping and cook your own food. And
Right.
you can just, yeah, it's because we're 45 minutes from Great Falls, 45 minutes from Helena, so it's quite a ways to go get supplies and food or
Mm-hmm.
hotels, and yeah, it's just easy just to come and let us take care of you. Yep.
Yes, just makes it easy. And I've got a screen overlay showed up with your website, basically, ondemarklodge.com, and we're on top of it. But also, before we get in the Q&A, and for folks that are on here, we're going to be doing a Q&A pretty quick here. I just want to give a shout out. Craig talked about it a little bit. I'll show you here. If you're interested in this trip that we're doing with Craig, which is in October, mid-October, we're going to be hitting, everything you talked about here. You can go to wetflyswing.com/Missouri. And as you can see on the screen, just enter your name and email, and I'll follow up with you on details on that. But then if there's folks that can't make those dates, there might be some other availability. We'll have a link to your website there. So just wanted to give that because that's going to be, I'm pretty excited, Craig. We've been talking about this a little bit. And I'm not sure if we're going to be driving out there. We might do a little road trip across and kind of
Oh, really?
road trip our way out. But I'm excited. So I think we're going to have some spots here for this trip. And again, if anybody's interested, you can do that here. You can also send me an email, dave@wetflyswing.com, if you have any questions. But anything else we should know about this trip, this October trip, that you want to highlight here?
No, I think it's really one of my favorite times of year, especially weather-wise, fishing-wise, and just you get all the fall colors. You get the streamer fishing with the dry fly fishing that time of year. The nymphing's still great. Nymphing's always great in this river, but
yeah,
it's really just a very nice time. Like I said, we have the later fall here, so that's like some of the most pleasant weather of the year usually.
Yeah, the weather's good. It's not
hopefully
super
we'll
hot.
get some nasty weather too, but yeah.
Well, we have a few questions we're going to hit on here in a little bit. So just want to give a shout out. And again, you can go to ondemarklodge.com if you have any specific questions about other times for Craig as well. And we've got, Philip, thanks for that. He says, nice presentation. Awesome. We got a Q&A coming right around the corner, but we just want to give a shout out to this because this is going to be exciting for us. We've been talking a lot about it, and we'll be doing some more podcast episodes, I think, as we move forward here. So, and let's just jump into this one. And again, I mentioned the podcast episode. If you want to take this further, there are 2 podcast episodes we have with Craig out there, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you guys listen. Episode 741 was the last one on the Wet Fly Swing podcast. For those that are new out there that don't, and I'm actually not sure how many people on here are familiar, know the podcast. I think it is a majority of people. But cool, Craig. Well, I think that kind of gives a shout out. Let's do a little Q&A. You ready to answer a few questions? And then maybe if anybody's out there, if you have questions, if you're on here, just throw them in the comments. And we'll follow up with some of these questions as we go here. I mean, we're not going to be able to get to everything because obviously there's tons of fishing questions, but throw out what you have here. And Craig, let's get back to this page here, and we'll just hop right here. So, one of the questions here was on back to weather. I guess at the end, Gary was asking about thunderstorms. Is that pretty common, consistently in the summertime? Are you guys getting those big thunderstorms that are going through?
We'll go through periods. We have some thunderstorms. We'll get some of the monsoonal stuff like in August, where you'll get, clouds will build every day. You'll get thunderstorms in the afternoon, but we don't have consistently have thunderstorms throughout the summer. No, but we do get them during periods.
Yeah. Okay. Occasionally you get them, you're not
I like it when we get them, because then that's you throw streamers in the evening, or or fish dry as caddis. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that answers that. And Cody was asking, how does this compare? This is a question, how does it compare to the bighorn, more sight fishing or drifting? I guess you talked about that today. It sounds like the Missouri, the Big Mo, right? Also known as the Big Mo, kind of has like everything. It sounds like you guys have.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a little bit similar to the Bighorn. I do think we do have a little more dry fly fishing than they do. It's a little bigger river than that one is. I think we have a higher percentage of rainbows, but they're similar. But I do think that like I said, we just have kind of this really good dry fly fishing, pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Most of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we had a question here about just the dry fly school. We're calling this, our dry fly, Missouri River dry fly school, because I think we want to focus on dry flies, and that's definitely, but just to answer that question, this isn't going to be just dry flies. So whatever boat you're on that day, it's going to, I think, right, Craig, it's going to depend on what's going on, and we'll mix it up. That might be streamers.
Yeah. Right? I mean, we always try to adjust to what's going on. But we definitely should be able to find, no matter what, find pockets of rising fish, but, be able to fish nymphs in the morning or throw streamers. And I think a lot of people don't get to throw streamers out of boats.
Yeah. No.
And that's something that's really fun too, especially that time of year.
Okay.
But no, we try to adjust to what's going to happen. But yeah, if we can make it happen with dries, we're definitely going to do that. Yep. And we should be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that might be another podcast episode we could look at, is the streamers, just like focusing on. Is that something you guys spend a lot of time on throughout the year? Is definitely streamers something people want to get
into? Typically when we as guides go fishing, we'll throw streamers.
Yeah. Right.
Most of the time we throw dries or streamers, but no, we really do enjoy that. It's in this river, it's something unique about it. We did it a couple days ago when we were out, but you can catch a fish usually every day on a dry, a fish on a nymph, and a fish on a streamer. And there's not many rivers you can do that with every day. It's most days.
Okay.
The fish are still a little bit slow, or not. It's not slow. The water temperature's down, so they don't want to chase as much streamers this time of year. You have to fish them a little slower, but yeah, we caught fish on streamers right now, and it'll get better.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Yep. And if people have other questions, just generally, I mean, we've got your website pulled up here, where we've got a beautiful picture of a boat in the middle of the river with, on your blog, like, where, if somebody wants to get information just on like the trip itself, anything we didn't cover, do you have that on your website, or do you have a brochure? What would you recommend there?
You can find about everything in our website. I really encourage you to look at our blogs, because we've written a lot of blogs about different times of year and the different kinds of fishing and things to do. But I look through that. Yeah. And that gives you a pretty good idea, and go to our social media, go to our Instagram, and we got some pretty cool videos on there and stuff that you can see. And specifically, please do not hesitate to call us or email us. I love to talk to people on the phone, answer questions by email, whatever you want to do. If you have any specific questions, please don't hesitate.
Okay. Yeah, we got that pulled up here. And we have a question here from Scott. He's asking, are your clients fishing in waders when they're in the boats or not? Yeah. Are they all wadered up usually?
Probably in October you will be, because it
Yeah.
will be chillier. It'll be chilly mornings, water temperatures down. From I don't know. The other day here, we have some pretty warm weather right now. I didn't wear waders in the boat.
Yeah.
It's April
Yeah.
still, but usually from June through
Yeah.
mid September, we're just in either shorts or fishing
Yeah.
pants,
Once you get
sandals in the
once you get
boat.
in October, you're definitely, yeah. I kind of like it. I'm one of those guys. I'm probably one of those weird people that loves wearing waders. You know what I mean? I maybe that's, I don't know if that's just me. Maybe give a comment if anybody has the same. But I love putting on the waders. You know what I mean? In fact, I've been
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I enjoy it. I like zippered waders better now that they have.
Yeah.
Those are, um, but when you're a guide and you go day after day and you're in waders every day, yeah, it
Oh
wears on
right.
you.
Yeah.
You like the days you can just take them off and be in pants.
Yeah. That's true.
It's
That's true.
but,
Definitely cool. All right, so we'll definitely have waders. What about there's just some random ones here on boots? Is this like studded boots, felted? Is that okay? What's the any regulations there?
felt is okay here.
Yeah,
There's no rules on felt here. We encourage you to clean your felt if you're going to the river afterwards. But this river is it's mostly a gravel bottom. It's really easy to walk around and wade. It doesn't have those big slick boulders like a lot of rivers do. Like the Big Hole is notorious for that. It has really, they're like greased bowling balls. But this river is a really nice river to wade. You don't have to worry about studs. Just felt soles or rubber soles, and you're
yeah.
good.
Okay, so yeah, this isn't a real crazy river to wade, and for the most part, we're
No,
not going to be doing. I mean, like we said, if we have some older folks in the crowd here, that they can maybe stay in the boat the whole time if they wanted to.
yeah, absolutely. Yep. We do that all the time. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
Or people want to get a wade, we'll stop and wade. Yeah.
Okay, a couple other questions here on this is just kind of general about the whole trip. So when we do it in October, if people are flying in from around the country, from the East Coast or whatever, wherever, they're going to come to the airport. It's either going to be Helena or Great Falls, and they
Yep.
can,
Both
I
are.
think, for a little fee, we can you can pick them up from the
Yeah.
airport,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We if we do it, we charge $200 round trip
Round trip.
to pick up and back. Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Um, and both airports are about 45 minutes from our door, so they're pretty equal. Great Falls is actually an international airport. If somebody's coming in from another country, if that makes a difference.
Yep.
But they're both about the same size, easy to
Yep.
fly into, not busy at all, not crowded. Yeah.
Okay. And then as far as gear, you guys have everything covered. People don't have to bring anything.
Yeah,
Just show up with
if you
their.
want to bring your rods that you paid a lot of money for and use them, I encourage you to do that. But if you don't, we have Orvis rods here on site and all the gear. We have waders, and so you don't have to slog that around with you around the country. And no, we make it pretty easy to be convenient, not to worry about any equipment at all.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're going to be getting out of here pretty quick. So if anybody has any other questions, throw them in the comments and we can answer them here while we're on here. If we miss you, or if you're listening on the recording, on the replay, you can send me a message, dave@wetflyswing.com. I'm going to put a link up, shot up to this. So here's the website. If you go to wetflyswing.com/Missouri, that's where you can sign up, and I'll follow up with you on details of the trip that we're putting together with Craig, which is going to be kind of mid-October. It's going to be pretty exciting. I've been in that country, not a ton. I've spent more time in the summer, but I have been in there in October, and it seems like, I don't know if it's climate change or what it is, but it seems like that October period seems to be nicer. It's pretty nice, right? Usually,
It
typically.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. You're
Yeah,
not
it
getting a lot of
is.
snow in October. That stuff might come in
No,
more
I
like
mean
November.
you can get a snowstorm. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say you won't, but you
Yeah. You
can.
could.
It can get really cold. But typically October's in the 60s. Sunny, warm afternoons, chilly mornings.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Really.
And
Yeah. Speaking of climate change, we're going to hit 80 degrees this weekend here. I
wow,
saw. Yeah, it's
80
crazy.
degrees.
Yeah.
Holy cow. There you go.
It's supposed to be Friday, Saturday, it's supposed to be 80 and 82 or something. Yeah. Yep.
Jeez. Let's see. We have a question here. Just this is on kind of your experience as a guide here, and I think we talked about this on the podcast. We'll have a link. You can check that out. But what? Yeah, how many? You're talking about that a little bit. How long have you been guiding in this area, or overall?
Yeah. So I guided down in Dillon on the Big Hole in the Beaverhead, mostly on the Big Hole. Did some of the Madison stuff like that. I've been on these rivers for 25 years.
Hmm.
As a professional guide, 8 years. So yeah, but we've been around it for a while.
Yeah, you've been going a
It's
while.
changes and yeah, but like I said, this river, we're a little more recent to this. I mean, we really started fishing it heavily 5 years ago or so, and just absolutely fell in love with it after being down in the Big Hole in Beaverhead. It just the dry fly fishing is what brought us here, really.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, no, this is going to be exciting. So, well, good. I think we're about there. We're going to make it within our allotted time, so we're doing pretty good here.
I had to
And
kind of rush through
no, it's great.
it.
Actually, this is perfect. I think we're going to let everybody get, because people on the East Coast, I'm not sure how many people are on the East Coast. We're going to let you get out, so you don't get too crazy with the time here. But so again, I'm just going to make a note here. So October 12th through the 16th is going to be the period that I'm going to be there. If folks are interested in that, we showed that page. We are going to be, there are some other questions about, I think we had one about staying an extra night, stuff like that. So you could always call Craig. We've got his contact. You can follow up on their website, On Demark Lodge. We've got it up on the screen there if you have any questions about other times. But that's it. If you want to check out the podcast, I mentioned that's easy to do. Craig, any last words before we take it out of here tonight?
Not really. No, it's like I said, I kind of give you a fishing report of right now. It's just it's really good right now. The fish are big. I mean,
is it? October, so right now, if we were to fish tomorrow, there's fish.
Yes. Yeah. First ones come tomorrow and fish. Please do, because it is really good right now. But again, like the fish they're healthy this year. October is going to be crazy.
Right.
That's going to be so good.
So there's going to be some big brown trout in October.
Yes.
So these fish, do they slowly, I mean, they're big now, so they're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger as we get up to.
Yeah. Fish and Wildlife says they average 3 to 4 inches a year growth.
Oh, a year.
So
I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I mean, they'll like fish right now that's 18. It'll be 20, 21 by the fall. Yeah. So
yeah. Gotcha.
There's plenty of bigger fish. You'll see them when you come. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this is perfect. I think we can leave it there, Craig. Like we said, we've got some more content that's going to be coming here. We will put, if anybody is getting this on the replay, or anybody listening now, we will have a replay. So if you want to follow up with any of those great videos that Craig had, you can take a look at that. This is going to go out tomorrow to everybody. So Craig, I think we can leave it there. And like we said, it's been always exciting to see photos and get more excited for the trip. I'll probably be picking your brain more on, as we get into the flies and stuff like that. But for the most part, you guys kind of have that covered, right? People, if they want to bring some flies, let's say we're going to box, say I wanted to tie up some flies for this trip. What would you recommend for dry flies? Is that something where, let's just take it to that October. What are the few we should have?
I would say your favorite blue-winged olive pattern that you can see.
So like bright post, would you put a bright post on it?
Bright post, I mean, I like the bright white stuff. I like to tie a longer wing on it, a little taller wing so it sticks out, because the fish can't see that from underneath. But you can see it up top, that longer wing that picks out from the other bugs. I'd tie some caddis, have like some X caddis or some corn-fed caddis, like in 16s. And then, a few October caddis, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like I said, I like the bigger stimulators for that, but yeah, it's in that time of year, it's good to have a few cripples too. It's always good to have a few cripples, like a film critic or a Quigley's, stuff that has just a different look, the sideways look. Those fish
sits down. That's kind of sitting more in the
that like that sideways look, like they've fallen over on their wing. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And are you doing any skittering or any of that stuff with the fly? Or is it all dead drift?
It's mostly dead drift with the Betas. Yeah. We'll do some skittering with caddis, definitely. But
caddis. Okay.
Or for October, sometimes it might be a little bit late, but we'll still fish hopper sometimes into early October, and I like to give them a twitch and kind of move them across the top of the water. That gets them to eat it. But yeah.
Okay.
And the October caddis is kind of the same way. They do a little bit of skittering and
they do. Yeah. I want to talk, and that's something maybe we will get on another episode, is more on the October cast. I want to hear caddis in general. I want to get some more juicy tips. But give us one tip as we get out of here tonight. The casting, maybe give us one casting tip and one just general tip. Like we're thinking October. What do you say is there any secrets on casting to have that presentation?
The reach cast. Yep. Practice your reach cast. Yep. Drop that rod to the side and bring it back upstream.
So cast and then reach to whatever side you're on. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Or just get that pull to one side or the other. Yeah,
So
yeah, and
practice the reach cast.
yeah, we'll be fishing downstream to fish. But yeah, practice reach cast, and then if you have a little bit of practice on your home river, I mean, practice pulling that line out and dumping it and getting that really long drift.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I do.
That's it.
And then just be ready for any kind of weather. I mean, it's probably going to be nice, but
Yeah.
have some warm clothes, and hopefully you'll have to wear them because we'll have those really
That's right.
rainy,
That's
snowy
what we want.
days, and you'll get
That's what
yes,
we
yeah,
want.
I
That's
love
awesome.
it. Yep.
Cool. Well, and
Some
what's
two
that?
hand rods here. There's a lot of people like to throw a 2-hand rod here.
Oh, really?
Switch.
Like what type? Like
Yeah,
nymphing or swinging, or what are you doing?
yep, swinging it. Yeah, yep. October's a really good time for that. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
we could swing some flies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There you
Can
go. I think a lot of people are going to like to hear that. It's good. So and probably the spay rod would be like maybe a 4 or 5 weight or something like that.
exactly like a 4-weight trout spay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Well, again, the more topics, the more we talk, the more I'm realizing that we got a lot of topics we still need to
Yes.
keep on about. It was interesting on the casting. We did an episode on the podcast with a guide up on the Bow River in Alberta.
Oh,
And he
yeah. Yep.
he also had a master's degree, I think, in his master's degree was studying vision of the best casters in the world, fly casters. And so, yeah, really interesting, right? And so he has a degree in this, and he studied their vision. And one of the guys he had was Tim Rajeff, and Tim Rajeff put these special glasses on, so they could tell. He could tell he had all these cameras, so he could tell where people were casting. And basically, the one thing they learned is that a lot of people, the good casters are really laser focused on where, you know what I mean. So anyways, we'll follow up with folks on that if you want to hear about the master student. That it was pretty interesting. We'll have that as well. But I think casting, I feel like you can put a lot of pressure on yourself, right? I think it feels like out here maybe we don't have to be perfect all the time. You don't have to be. It's okay to be.
Nope. Just relax. I mean, we can get the boat to a spot it needs to be and get close enough on some fish.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool. All right, Craig. Well, I think we'll leave it there tonight. Thanks again for all your time. Really appreciate it, and we're excited about following up with you and staying in touch here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave.
All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate for everyone for being here, and we will talk to you all soon. Hope to see you out on the podcast. All right, have a good night.